my 6. What's up, everybody? Don't those frogs sound beautiful? Let's go for a walk. Let's take a walk up here to the Bigfoot Sasquatch, potential Bigfoot Sasquatch territory. See if we see anything, hear anything. Like the title says, before you get your undergarments of gender of identification up in a bunch, something terrible happened yesterday, and it is all my fault. And I talked to Erie about this morning. Rather, she talked to me about it. Got to make sure it doesn't happen again. I have spread myself out so thin yet again. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me doing this. So, you know, I go ahead and finally accept help from someone in regard to channel administrator. Oh man, there it is. We're like right up on one of these frogs. I'm hoping we can see it. So I freed up my time one way there. And then of course I requested for you folks to send in your stories, what you've been doing, and they're amazing stories. And I thought, I'm gonna, you know, make 2 or 3 videos a day now so I can read all these stories. You know, and I got into the woodworking thing I've been putting off getting into for a long time, running over 30 miles a week now for the first time in 20 years. So what I'd done without realizing I had done it was that, yeah, I freed up a bunch of my time by getting rid of literally hours worth of administrative work on the channel that I don't need to be doing because she is now so graciously doing it for me, to filling what should be spare time with other things I probably shouldn't be doing, at least for now. And I'm going to explain this. And this is why the terrible thing that happened yesterday happened. Man, I'm human, I guess, just as much as anybody else. And even though I don't really feel it so much, and maybe because I don't react to it so much, I get tired and worn down too. And the machine just stops working. I will usually work my way into illness, literally, because I just never stop until I get sick, and then I just can't do anything, and I have to allow myself to recover. Well, I'm not sick, but the brain, the synapses, you know, just... So this morning, Erie emailed me and she said, listen, there's a lot I've wanted to say to you over the last few days, but I wasn't really sure how to say it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recommend you watch your buddy Travis Daigle's channel or video that he put out last night from the channel Fighting Past 40, which I did. And if you saw that, which many of you did, and I appreciate you going over there to support my old battle buddy from the Army, he realized he was working too much. He was putting too much of himself out there. He still has a job, and he's recently, because of you folks that went over to support his channel, that have been watching his videos, he's been giving more of himself to his YouTube endeavors, and he kind of hit the point where he realized, I'm worn out, the quality of my content just isn't there. I need to back off the pace a little bit and kind of let myself rest, pull my thoughts together better. And so basically he said everything I've kind of been feeling without allowing myself to acknowledge I've been feeling this way. And what happened yesterday, this terrible thing, was proof, you know, when it happened, and I'm going to tell you what it was here. And no, I'm not intentionally trying to string you along. We should go in the woods. Let's go back here and go in the woods. Because I thought I saw movement back here, and I don't want to go directly at it and make it just go further back. I'm fully convinced when I come up here and meander around and walk around, they never know exactly where I'm going, because that's what I do. I meander. I never know exactly where I'm going until I go there. So maybe we can go down here into the woods, and they'll think we're going a different way, and they might even edge closer to the field. We might get a view. If I need to stop talking and flip the phone, I will. But don't worry, I'll get back to the point I'm talking about here and pick it back up if that happens. So here's what happened. My son's football coach decided to throw a surprise birthday party for this wonderful kid that's on the team. And it was a surprise party. So he texted about it a couple of weeks ago. He said, hey, everybody, we're going to have a party for so-and-so, such and so, you know, and he worked it out with the kid's mom. So it was going to be at this certain location at a certain time. Like everybody on the team except us are still out taking like that last minute. All right, here we go. Let's give you guys a view of the woods. taking like that last minute end of summer vacation. You know, they're down at the Outer Banks, they're in Florida, some of them are out west, because school starts in 10 days. And so everybody's texting back and they're like, oh, you know, sorry we can't make it because we're going to be out of town, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we're here. And so I texted, talked to Daniel, hey, you want to go? And talked to Dearly, yeah, let's go. We really like that kid, of course, and we like the family. He's got a wonderful family. So let's do it. So it turns out the only people that were going to go was Coach and us and our family and the kid's family. And there was talk about, well, should we still do it? And I was like, why not, man? It's the kid's birthday. He doesn't know anybody's going to be there. If even just a few of us show up, it's going to make his day, right? He turned 12 years old. So they were like, okay, let's do it. Well, I'm never late for anything. I mean, I'm never late for anything. And it's not because I was in the Army. I was always timely even before that. I've always believed if you're not at least 5 minutes late or 5 minutes early, you're late. So, but I was running late because I was exhausted. I was freaking exhausted from staying up till midnight every night, editing October Nights Part 2, 31 more tales for the Halloween season, getting up between 4 and 5 in the morning to do it again after anywhere from a 4 mile to an 8 mile run, doing this woodworking stuff I'm doing, reading your stories. And listen, I'm not blaming you, and continue to send your stories to crazylake@mail.com. Yesterday, I think 3 videos, all this stuff. So I was so exhausted, I laid down in the hammock in the backyard and I fell asleep. And Dearly came out looking for me. So I texted, you know, hey, we're on the way, but we're going to be about 15 minutes late. Well, I keep my phone on silence, and I don't have it within reach of me if I'm in the truck. I will not answer a call. I will not answer a text. None of this stuff. When I drive, I drive. I put the phone down and I drive. So we get to the town where the thing is. We end up actually being like a block away from the location. We're at the wrong location. So I pick up my phone to call the coach and say, hey, can you kind of guide me in from here? And I see that he had replied to my message, and he said, dude, the party's already over. It was from 12 to 2. Well, I thought it was from 2 to 4. That's never happened. He said, the party's over. It was from 12 to 2, and no one showed up except us. And it said one kid. The kid had a cousin. And I was like, oh my God, how did this happen? And my son's upset because he really likes this kid. He really wanted to go to the party. And my wife said, you don't know what day of the week it is. You're so busy doing all this stuff, most of which doesn't even need to be done, at least not right now. I'm not surprised. She says, I'm not surprised. Something worse than this has happened. So here's the good news. The good news is we went to that kid's house anyway, where they were having a party. It was actually at his grandmother's house. They were surprised to see us. They didn't expect us, and they were happy. And the kid was happy, and him and that other kid that was there, his cousin, and Daniel ended up playing for more than an hour while me and Dearly talked to the parents and this kid's older siblings. It was a great time. So, but it really got me thinking, especially after watching Travis Daigle's video today. It's like, I'm overextended. I'm just overextended. And yeah, I can view it as, well, I'm Superman, you know, I run 30 miles a week, I eat a healthy diet, and I don't, you know, eat fast food, and 4 hours of sleep's enough. Even Superman gets tired. So, and then I listened to Travis's talk, and he talked about the quality of his videos, and it reminded me of, and Erie and I talked about this, there was one day last week where I was so excited to finally get back into the Bigfoot Sasquatch forest, and like way further out from here. I wanted to go out and read some of the creepy stories, and I did that. But here's the mistake I made. Here's the problem that I had. I just went print. I never took the time to actually sit down and read the story and do any editing that was required. I just figured, okay, I'm a writer. I was projecting. I just assumed everybody can do this like I can. Well, they can't, and it's nothing against them. And don't take offense to this if you've sent in a story. I understand you folks aren't writers. Some of you are mechanics. I can't fix anything. You could probably look at a car, or you could probably hear a noise a car is making and know exactly why it's making that noise and know exactly how to fix it. I would never be able to figure that out because that's not my thing. I know you guys aren't writers, so don't take this the wrong way. Well, I get out there in the woods and I'm reading this story and I realized, and it was like a 3-page long story. The person had sent it in, and it was a wonderful story. It was totally creepy. Had I taken the time to edit it, it would have been delivered so much better, and that person's story probably would have gone viral. The punctuation was not in the proper place, so I couldn't get the rhythm going. And again, it's not their fault for not being a writer. It's my fault for not taking the time to do it properly and go over it and read it and edit it properly and then print it out and then read the story. And Erie pointed this out to me today. And I was like, yeah, you're right. That's totally on me. And she says, and think about it. So you did it because she's handling all the emails now, as well as, you know, the comment section of this channel. And so she's getting snippy with people instead of just banning people and moving on. I think she's trying to engage people in arguments. She's feisty. She was a businesswoman, and she still is to a degree. And she got a lot of fight in her, so be careful what you say. But she said, okay, think about it, Kevin. She goes, you go up into the woods and you tell a story and you read 4 or 5 stories and you say, send us your stories. And then a couple hours later, you got another 8 or 10 stories. So you go up in the woods, you tell 4 or 5 of those stories. A couple hours later, you got 8 or 10 stories. She goes, this is what you're doing. She says, it's like you're in a hole and you're in a hole. You can't get out, but you've got a shovel. So you're taking your shovel and you're like digging up dirt on the left side, piling it up on the right side, stepping up on that to get out. And you realize, hey, I'm almost out. A little bit more dirt and I'll be out of here. So you step back down over to the left, dig up more dirt, but what that does is that gets you deeper in the hole. Now you can't even climb up to the pile you made on the right. So you got to dig a little bit more dirt and then start making another step so you can step up. She says, you could tell she was in business. I'd never heard this. She says, basically all you're doing is you are digging yourself deeper and deeper into this hole as far as spreading yourself thin goes and not having the time to do all these things. She says, Kevin, people will understand that you just can't do it all. You just need to go out there and tell them. And I guess that's kind of what this video is about. Now, does this mean, here's the campground. I popped out of the woods. I didn't see anything, but I wasn't looking because I'm going yada, yada, yada. So if you saw anything, timestamp it. She told me people will understand if I just come out and tell you. So here's what I'm saying. Yes, please continue to send your stories about anything that you've personally experienced with paranormal, supernatural, spiritualism, cryptozoology, because we are filling a void by telling those stories. There are people, educated professionals who are strong in their faith, attend religious services regularly, but then they see a ghost or have an experience with something that's not supposed to exist, and they feel like they're crazy because this goes against everything they've come to believe in as far as how the world works. I understand those people need to have a voice, and they find strength and comfort in numbers by being able to go somewhere like here where the other people have had similar experiences. So continue to send the stories, and in time and very soon I will get back to reading more of those stories. But a lot of them are probably going to be put together, edited properly, not just by me, but probably Erie as well, and put in a book so they can get out there and people can read them. But listen, I am racing the clock. If I do not get October Nights Part 2, 31 more tales for the Halloween season, completely I'm in the 5th draft right now as far as proofreading, rewrites, and final edits. I've got like 4 days to get this done, or we're going to miss Halloween. We missed last Halloween because it wasn't done properly, and I wanted to take the time to do it right. So instead of rushing it over the course of a year, I was willing to make it take 2 years. I don't want this thing to go on for 3 years, and I know you don't either. I've already been talking it up, and I'm reading these stories, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I actually wrote this stuff. It's going to make part 1, which is available with an autograph from our Etsy store. The link's in the description box below. Or Kindle and print from Amazon. It's going to make it look like child's play. Trust me. But I've got to get it done. So I agree with Erie that if I'm out here trying to make 3 videos a day, I have not stepped foot in my wood shop today. Do you see those really neat little tiered tray ghosts I made last night? Check them out at Etsy. But if I keep doing those things, I'm not going to get October Nights Part 2, 31 more tales for the Halloween season done. It's just not going to happen. So at least for the next week, I got to back off. I got to take my buddy Travis Daigle's advice from over at Fighting Past 40, and I got to back off the pace. I'm not going to let my physical conditioning or health go by the wayside over work, because without your health, what do you got anyway? Health is the greatest form of wealth any of us can possess. And if you disagree, go downtown here in Charlottesville and go up on the cancer ward. There are millionaires up there who have cancer who would give away all their money with anybody down there walking around on the street who don't have cancer to have the opportunity to be down there walking around on the street, enjoying life. Trust me, health is wealth. It's the number one form. So I'm not going to back off of my training regimen. None of that. I'm just not going to be making 2 or 3 videos a day. Thought I heard a growl, so I'm going to go this way. So guys, that's what's going to happen. Continue to send me your stories. Look at these apples. Look at that. They're red, delicious. I checked this morning, I think, to see if they were ripe, and I just touched one. It fell right off. They're not that big, but look. You see that juice come out of there? We got so many pears this year from our pear trees. They were breaking the limbs. This is the most delicious fruit I've ever eaten in my life, because it's coming from trees that we planted. I gotta fix that tree guard. It fell down in the rain. So anyway, so hopefully somebody out there got something out of this, and hopefully this is advice you can take as well. Listen, we're all human. And if you find yourself working too much, spreading yourself too thin, I'm glad we were able to recover yesterday, and that kid, basically, he got an extended party. Instead of it lasting 2 hours, it lasted about 3.5 hours. Everybody had fun, but that was terrible that happened, and it was all my fault, because I just, like I said, dearly said, I don't even know what day of the week it was. Lost track of time because I've just been asking too much of myself. So I'm going to back off the pace a little bit. But send your stories. We will get to them, just not until October Nights Part 2, 31 more tales for the Halloween season is complete and sent off to print. And with that, though I'll see you less, I will see you again next time.